Hi. Good evening, everybody. Again, welcome back. Here is day 3 of the TIP Annual Fathers Conference. Today is going to be really exciting because we're going to have someone that has done this for over 25 years come to actually talk to us about what it is that we should do. Please let me hear in the comment section if you can hear me. That will help us know if we can continue. I can see that we already have 2 people watching. I saw that we already had 6 people waiting. That will help us know if we can continue. Yes, so we are live. Please, we are live. If you can hear me, let me know that you can hear me. All right, awesome. And then my boss is here already. That's so good
Thank
to
you.
know. All right, so
I was doing a broadcast on Facebook. Then I was trying to end it. It wasn't ending, so I don't even know what is happening there now. Okay, please let's go on. I'm here with you. I'm here with you.
So I said that today is the day 3 of the TIP annual conference, the Fathers Conference, and already right here in the studio. We call him the preacher. I'm going to read a bit about Barrister Akinlami. And but before we go on, I just want to let you know that the TIP annual conference is put together by the Intentional Parents Academy, which I'm privileged to be the founder. Thank you so much for trusting us to do this with you. I've seen so many reviews from fathers just in 2 days. It's been all amazing, like they will say. Thank you so much. So before we bring Taiwo Akinlami since 1997 has been inspiring his world with the story of aborted childhood, 20 young adulthood, and change pilgrimage. He has seen seemingly impossible changes in his life since 1997, and he today defines change as an ever-present possibility for everyone who is ready to take responsibility. His mandate is securing a friendly and protective environment for the precious African child. Through social protection and development, he seeks to achieve this through social empowerment advocacy. Akinlami, Africa's leading social development lawyer and subject matter expert on securing a friendly and protective environment for the precious African child, consults for international organizations, UNICEF, British Council, USAID, UNFP, SOS, Nigeria on policy formulation and curriculum development. He's an author, he's a blogger, and as of today, he has published on his blog, taioakinlamiblog.com, 808 articles, which has been respectively viewed and visited by 106,629,000 people from all over 189 countries of the world. Akinlami is a publisher of the Safe View Family Comics and co-founder of the Safe for Children Society, an NGO committed to helping young people to identify and play their roles in their personal safety and self-protection. He is the principal of Taiwo Akinlami Academy and the co-founder of the Power Parenting Company, LLC. He's married to his beautiful wife, Oluwafunmilayo, and his family and him resides in Lagos. Before, this is the curriculum vitae of the world. Let me tell you my own curriculum vitae of this man you're going to be listening to. Taiwo Akinlami is a man I met just at the onset of my career as a parent coach. And when I met him, somehow, I just don't know how, there was just something so striking about Taiwo. And we met, and bam, it was like a divine meeting. But even before we met, Taiwo Akinlami has been a mentor that I am proud of. I say it over the rooftop everywhere. So today I'm bringing you my Oga at the top. Oh. So Taiwo Akinlami is already in the studio, and I'm so honored to have Taiwo Akinlami here. He's a man I respect so much. Many times I have had to, boot him out of his schedule just because he just looks around and just says, this my small mentee is calling me, I must answer. I am so honored to have you here, sir. The fact that I can bully you at any point in time that I like gives me so much joy. And I love it. Thank you for coming here, sir. I am so honored. On behalf of the Intentional Parent Academy, I want to say thank you. Taiwo has spoken on different platforms back to back every year in the annual conference, and then even on several sessions on the TIP group on Facebook. Something I do not take for granted. He's such a man that is so busy. As you're seeing him, he's coming out from a session and he's entering straight into this session just to be right on time. I'm so honored, boss, and you know that I don't take this for granted. You have the floor, sir. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. I'm trying to this is what I plan to do before we start. I'm trying to look for where there's light in my office, but let me just start.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Wendy Ologe, thank you very much for having me tonight. You are a dynamite. You are an inspiration. You are too. Words fail me to describe what you represent and the inspiration that I draw from what you do. You are a force. You are committed. The first time we met online. Then we met in Abuja. I showed up in your office by surprise, and it was as if we met forever. I appreciate everything that you are doing. Keep working, keep sparring. And yesterday, I got a call from a colleague who wanted my advice on something. And when I finished giving the advice, and I encouraged him, I said, you see, these things that we do are not in vain. People are following it, people are watching it, people's life has been changed, have been transformed, and we can never give up by virtue of the result that we do not see or the level of the result that we see. There are over, when Elijah gave up, God said there are over 7,000. So the people that we see that comment, they're in the minority. There is a silent majority that we are blessed, whose life we are changing, whose parenting agenda we are nurturing, whose life of their children are transforming. They may never come forward, but you see, they are there and they are recorded by history, by posterity, and by God. So I appreciate you for what you are doing. I really am so proud to be associated with you, and it's my pleasure for me to be with you tonight. I want to talk to you about fatherhood as a legacy, and I prepared some slides. I will see. My problem with my slide is that my passion runs faster than my slide, so sometimes I had to give up on the slide. But I'll try as much as possible tonight to try and work with the slide. But let me start by saying, fathers, that fatherhood is an onerous responsibility, very big responsibility, and that's why tonight I want to speak on fatherhood as a legacy. The word fatherhood for me is an acronym. I'm going to get into that. But I want to look at the legacy of fatherhood. That is, what is it that you are going to leave behind? What is it that you are building your life on, that even now and when you depart, your children can say, our father told us, this is the principle that was there with our father. This is how our father lived his life, See, I asked the question in the broadcast I just finished. I said, which is more important? Is it money or it is made? Is it status or it is attained? Is it life or it is lived? But in the school of the majority, money is more important than how it is made. In the school of the majority, life is more important than how it is lived. In the school of majority, status is more important than how it is attained. It's a shame. And the majority are not always wise. So the question is, which is more important, money or how it is made? Status or how it is attained? Is becoming a governor of a state more important than how you became? But if you look around you, what we become has become more important than how we become it. Therefore, there's no legacy. There's nothing to show our children. There's no path, because some of the paths we have taken, we are ashamed to say to our children, this is the path that we have taken. You are rich. You live in a big mansion. You are driving a big car. But are you interested? Are you able to have a conversation with your children on how all of that came by? The principle you employed, that you are proud of, both in the dark and in the light. So foundationally, legacy is key. And legacy tonight that I'm talking about is value. There's a guy called James David Wolfenson. He was the 9th president of the World Bank. He served the World Organization meritoriously for 2 terms for 10 years, becoming the 3rd person to serve 2 terms in the position after Eugene Black and Robert McNamara. He visited more than 120 countries around the world during his time as president. He is credited among other things, with being the first World Bank president to bring attention to the problem of corruption in the area of development financing. On January 3rd, 2005, he announced that he would not seek the 3rd term. He was so prodigious in his impact and influence that in the year 2000, Alpha Club, a Washington, D.C. based social organization, which membership is comprised of primarily of American politicians and influential members of the United States business community, and has included several presidents of the United States during his time, named him as their nominee for President of the United Nations as part of a long-standing tradition. Despite being constitutionally ineligible, being an Australian, he is an international humanitarian of high repute who came from a very high, humble background. Wolfenson, 80, is a husband of 1 wife of close to 50 years, a father of 3 children, and grandfather of 7. Wolfenson was the guest of Real Khan on One-on-One on Al Jazeera on Sunday, on July 18, 2010. It was a very engaging, captivating, and informative interview. It was vintage James David Wolfenson, as he fielded questions with candor from probing Khan. With Khan, closing question was, how would you like to be remembered? Did you hear that question? He was asked, how would you like to be remembered? Then, looking straight and confidently into the camera, he replied with enthusiastic conviction, as a decent father, I want to be remembered. And as I said that, tears whip up in my eyes. Look at this man's achievement. Look at everything he has done. Look at the honor he has received. He's been married for 50 years, husband of 1 wife, no scandal, 3 children, 7 grandchildren. He has reached the peak of his career. He was nominated to become the president of Secretary of the United Nations, though he was not constitutionally qualified. But because of his reputation, a club was rooting for him to become. And despite all of those things that he has done, despite all of those things he has achieved, He was asked, how would you like to be remembered? He said, as a decent father. As a decent father, which means the most important thing to him in the world is the name he wants to leave for his children. Not the money, not the car, is the value. Is the value system. Not he does not want to be remembered as a father. He wants to be remembered as a decent father. A decent father. Wow. Wow, what a legacy. You see, I follow great men. I followed boxing. And I followed Muhammad Ali. I don't follow boxing tomorrow, but I follow the life of Muhammad Ali. And when Muhammad Ali died, CNN reported, today, Muhammad Ali, the world's greatest boxer, died surrounded by his children. When Mandela died, who died very old, after he had served his country, 27 years in prison, when he died, CNN reported, Mandela, the father of South Africa, Madiba, died today, surrounded by his children. Lee Kuan Yew led the country. He was the father of Singapore. He moved Singapore from a third world nation to a fourth world nation in less than 30 years. When he died, the newspaper reported, today, Lee Kuan Yew, the father of Singapore, died, surrounded by his children. It means those men who led the world, those men who changed the world, at the time of their death, at the most critical time in their life, the most important people to them were their families. Even the whole of Singapore wanted to gather to be with these people, to be with Mandela. If the whole of Singapore wanted to gather to be with Lee Kuan Yew, where would they gather them? If the whole of South Africa wanted to gather to be with Mandela, where would they gather them? If the whole of America wanted to gather to be with their hero, Muhammad Ali, where would they gather? There's nowhere to gather. The closest people to you are your family. Your most important responsibility on earth is your legacy as a father. That man said, how do you want to remember? As a decent father. Wow. 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 And let me quickly tell you about Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela, in Long Walk to Freedom, he said this at the wedding of his daughter. He came out of prison, became the president of South Africa, and he was giving out his daughter in marriage. And so he made a statement, which has not left me since I read it in Long Walk to Freedom. He said, and when he died, I wrote an article which I titled Mandela's Regrets. Because when Gracia Machel was asked, after Mandela died by CNN, what do you think Gracia Machel was Mandela's third wife? When he was asked, what do you think was Mandela's regrets? He said, Mandela's greatest regret was that he did not spend time with his children as a father. And Mandela said in his daughter's wedding that one of the greatest regrets he had in the choice he made was that he watched his children grew without his guidance. He concluded in that saying, in that quote at the daughter's marriage, he said, to be the father of a nation is a great joy, but to be the father of a family is a greater joy. And he ended with a very sad statement. It is a joy I had far little of. It is a joy I, Nelson Mandela, had far little of. What is he telling us? That if I have to live my life again, if I have to come back again, despite the fact that I spent 27 years in prison, if I have to come back again, if it is possible, despite the fact that I became one of the most important human beings on earth, if I have to live my life again, despite the fact that I could meet anybody I wanted to meet in the world, if I have to live my life again, despite the fact that I got a Nobel, if I have to live my life again, despite the fact that I have some money in the bank, if I have to live my life again, despite the fact that I battered New South Africa, if I have to live my life again, my priority will be different. My priority will be my children, not the nation. In retrospect, in the twilight of his life, Mandela submitted to be the father of a nation is a great joy. But to be the father of a family is a greater joy. It was a joy I had far little of. Friends, fatherhood is a responsibility. Having children does not necessarily make you a father, you know. Fatherhood demands skill. Fatherhood demands knowledge and attitude. Therefore, having children only gives you the opportunity to give expression to your abilities as a father. That you have children is not what makes you a father. What makes you a father is your skill. What makes you a father is your knowledge. I'm so moved tonight. What makes you a father is your attitude. Because I can see the failure of fatherhood all around us. And there can be no better time to have this kind of conference discussing this subject matter than now. Fathers are failing the nations. I'm still going to talk about the third word father. Because the third word father has a peculiar challenge, which we do not address most of the time. And that's where I'm going to round up my conversation with you. As a third word father. As a third word father, your challenges are different. So, someone said, Gregory Winston Slater is an American husband of one wife, a father, a professor, a diplomat, an author, businessman, a philanthropist, with appointment from both President George Bush and President Obama. Look at what he said. We get involved in business and politics to ensure a better future for our kids. But it is easy to lose perspective that the most important thing we can do to keep America healthy for tomorrow is to be a better dad today. Fatherhood failure is to cost US over $1 trillion this decade. Fatherhood failure is going to cost America over $1 trillion this decade. That's what Gregory Winston Slater is saying. The failure of fatherhood is being quantified in a country like America. $1 trillion. Convert $1 trillion to Nigerian naira at 450 or 500 to $1. Then you can begin to imagine what we are losing when fathers do not take their place. Friends, this is a passion for me. Friends, this is something that drives me. I want to be remembered as a decent father. I cannot compromise my integrity because little ones are watching me. Little ones are interested in are not only interested in what I'm doing, they are interested in how I'm doing it. Little ones are not only interested in my status, they are interested in how I attain it. Little ones are not only interested in my money, they are interested in how I'm making it. Whatever you are doing that you cannot explain to your children is not worth doing. Whatever you are doing, you cannot explain to your children, this thing is happening, this is what I'm doing, this is what is going on. It's not worth doing. And so, friends, as I journey on to talk to you about fatherhood, I want to talk to you about childhood. I want to begin this conversation by talking about childhood because it's a misunderstood concept. It is childhood that will produce fatherhood. Once we get childhood wrong, then we get fatherhood wrong. We live in a world today where we are instead interested in rules and regulation. Rules and regulation. Do not. 10 ways to be a good father. 15 ways to be a good father. Rules don't work, friends. Rules don't work anywhere. Let me tell you. Rules don't help anybody. You don't live by rules. You live by values. Values. Inculcated values. Who you are. How you think. What you hold dear. All of those things are your value system. See, people talk about vision. Let me tell you, friends, fathers don't look for vision. Look for yourself. When you find yourself, you will find vision. You need to find yourself. A man who does not know who he is, what does he see? When he sees, what does he see? You see the world through the lenses of your value system. So when I talk to people, I'm not interested in your vision first until I'm interested in who you are, because anybody can say anything. Anybody can say anything. Anybody can say they are anything. So I'm not interested in what you say, as I'm interested in who you are. But our society is more interested in what you do, what you say. But what you say, 400 people say they say things to you. that make you feel, that makes you feel that you're okay, that makes you feel you're in safe hands. I'm interested in who you are. I'm interested in who you are, friends. I'm interested in the life that you are living and what is dictating it. That is the foundation of fatherhood. You are the foundation of fatherhood, not rules, not regulation. It's your value system. It's who you are. Who are you? Who are you? People talk about rules, 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 rules. Who has rules helped? Who rules help? Who rules help? Rules does not help anybody. We've been budging under rules, rules, regulation, rules, do not, 10 ways, 50 ways, 31 ways, 51 ways. We've done all of that. We are still where we are. Because life does not answer to rules. Life answers to who you are. You produce after your kind. The book that I read says, you produce after your kind. A mango tree cannot produce cassava. It's not possible. You produce after your kind. So who you are. Instead of you spending time on what you do, you should spend time on who you are. Who are you becoming? Who you are becoming or who you have become is more important than what you want to do. Because it is not everybody that set out to do something that has the capacity to do it. If witches were horses, beggars would have been riding it since. But unfortunately, witches were not horses. That's why beggars don't ride. Who are you? I'm interested in you. And for me to discuss you, I must discuss your past. For me to fix your present, I must visit your past. Please note, I did not say that for me to fix your present, I must fix your past. No, your past is gone. But I'm saying for me to fix your past, your present, I must visit your past. I'm not saying for me to fix your present, I must fix your past. Your past is gone. You don't have control over your past. It's gone. You were in the hands of those who you have no control over. They took charge of your life. They took over your life. They directed you, do this, do that, do this. And you followed all of those rules. And that has become who you are today. And so when you arrive at today, we begin to analyze you as if you did not have a past. You had a past. There's somewhere you were coming from. You were coming from somewhere. Somebody raised you. Somebody modeled fatherhood to you. The man who modeled fatherhood to me was a kind man. The man who modeled fatherhood to me, I believe, who laid down his life for us. But the man who modeled fatherhood to me did not model dignity to me, did not model honor to me, unfortunately, did not model the right thing to me, did not model fidelity to me. He was married to my mother, but whenever my mother traveled, he brought in so many other women to come and sleep in the house. And he trained us that when our mother returned, we must never tell our mother what we saw. So we were trained, we did not only witness fidelity, we were trained to lie, to cover our father. What did I see? I saw the man who raised me, raised his hands against my mother and beat her many times. And many times they will fight. And the fight they could not settle. And they will take us to the house of the landlord. The house of the landlord will become the Supreme Court, where the matters will be discussed. And at the end of the day, when the matter is discussed, what happens? We children will become prosecution witness to witness the shame of our parents. Fighting. I've seen my father lifted up his hand. I saw my father called my mother all kinds of names. That was my past. It was a messy past. It set me up for irresponsible fatherhood. It set me up for irresponsible manhood. It set me up for irresponsible fatherhood. But for the fact that I met Christ in 1997, February 16, and I gave my life to Christ, that is the beginning of transformation in my life. I'm not preaching any faith to you. I'm just talking to you about what happened to me. I gave my life to Christ. What my father could not do, Christ became father to me. Jesus became father to me and began to lead me and began to help me. It has been 23 years journey, but I tell you, friends, I'm still going through a lot. I'm still going through a lot. I'm still going through a lot. I tell you, my past has been a burden that I've been dealing with. But today, I've recorded more victory than defeats. But I still experience some defeats. I still experience some shame. And I tell you, friends, when I speak to you, I'm not speaking to you, I'm speaking to myself. I'm telling you the things that I handled, the things that I touched. I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to make life difficult for you. I'm just telling you, we need to visit you. The foundation of fatherhood. We must trace your background. We must trace where you are coming from. You father the way you were fathered. You father the way you were fathered. You treat children the way you were treated, my friends. And if you were not properly treated, like I was not properly treated, you mess up big time. And you are carrying that burden, and you have never revisited your past. You are just interested. Prayer, fasting, offering. That is not the way forward, friends. We need to see your past. We don't need to fix your past. We need to visit your past so that we can fix your present. We do not need to fix your past to fix your present, because your past is gone. But we need to know where you are coming from, your history. Your history is your sociology, friends. Your psychology today is who you have become. That is your psychology. But your sociology is how you became. And we need to look back. Who were we? Who raised us? Who defined manhood for us? I was sexually molested growing up. I lost my virginity at the age of 6. That's the year I started primary school. And that sexual molestation went on for 2 years. I was introduced to sex through violence. But for the fact that Jesus took hold of my life at the age of 27, I could be one of the rapists out there, because the way I learned sex was the way I would learn to do it. That's why I learned it. I learned sex through violence. I learned sex through violation. I learned sex through the messing up of my mind. Then I stumbled on pornography. Then I stumbled on all kinds of things. My life was a big bundle of mess until 1997, February 16, when I met Christ. Friends, you can't sweep your past in the dustbin. It's not going to work. Tonight, you need to visit that past. Not as a point of contact or regret, but a point of pointer to what do we need to do. There are 5 things you need to do, fathers. The 5 things you need to do in visiting your past. We must visit your past. Not to dwell there. Not to build a castle there. Not to shed tears there. Not to put a memorable building there. No. It is to visit it so that we can question it, so that we can begin to see why we behave the way we behave, because we are all products of our influence. Where we are coming from, who we are, who raised us, who spoke to us. My childhood was tough. I don't look at childhood in nostalgia. There's nothing I left in childhood that I want to go and take. Childhood was 18 years, was too long to be a child. It was too long. I could not wait to leave the house. And when I left the house, I ran mad. I tried all kinds of, oh my God. See, the things that I tried, I cannot be saying them again because I'm not proud of them. I'm not proud of them. Though it was my childhood that set me up for all of those things, but friends, I'm not proud of the things that I've done. Think about any sexual perversion in the world. Apart from sleeping, apart from incest and sleeping with animals, I've probably tried it. Let your imagination run wild. Apart from incest and sleeping with animals, I have probably tried it. Jesus is the reason why I'm sitting before you tonight. And nobody can tell me it does not exist. By that, I don't invalidate your own faith. I'm speaking about my own. And you cannot begrudge me. I'm the one speaking. So, if you are the one speaking, you will also speak about your own. I will not also begrudge you. This is a personal experience. And so, friends, you need a transformation tonight. Rules don't help anybody. Oh my God, am I hungry?
No, you are good, sir. You are good, sir. Go ahead. We can hear you loud and clear. Yes.
I'm freezing here. Okay, I should continue. Fine.
Yes, continue, sir.
Okay. So, my thought is, okay, where was I? What was I saying? Sorry, what was I saying? If you can help me.
Yes, you were talking about visiting. Yes, the past. Yes, go ahead, sir.
So, visiting the past. So, there are 5 things, fathers, I want you to do. Number 1, you must, as a matter of necessity, visit your past. Sit down. Look at the things that went right. Look at the things that went wrong. after visiting your part, if some things went wrong, if some things went right, how can I build on what is right? If some things went wrong, how can I build on, how can I repair what is wrong? That's the second level thing you need to do. Number 3, you need to find out the requirement for healing. This place is not a clinic, it's a conversation. So you need to find out what is the requirement for healing. What do I need to do to be healed? And you need to subscribe to healing. You cannot get into your new level with the way you were thinking that created the same problem. This conference cannot be a tea party. We just come, we just hear, we just go, and we experience change. You will experience the impetus, the drive to pursue change. For that change, you are the one that will do it for yourself. So you have to subscribe to change. There is not only subscribing. The last thing you need to do, you need to submit to change. You must identify what went wrong and what went right. Identify you can build on what was right. Identify what you can fix what was wrong. Number 2, identify the requirement for healing. Number 4, decide to subscribe. You have to invest. The greatest investment is not in bonds. The greatest investment is not in treasury bills. The greatest investment is not in stocks. The greatest investment is not in property. I do invest in all of those things too. But I tell you, friends, the greatest investment is in yourself, because yourself is going to reflect in your children. You are going to father after your kind. You can father after your past. If your past was wrong, I do not repair your past. But if you repair your past, and your past is your present, your past does not define your present, you begin to produce after your kind. So it is your kind that you produce after. The question is, what are you investing in your kind? What are you investing? Very key. Very key. So you see, that is the foundation. You cannot approach fatherhood until you approach yourself. The first subject matter in fatherhood is not your child, because having children is not what makes you a father. You are a father with or without children. Is that when children come, you now display the capacity of fatherhood inside of you. That is how it works. You know, the way the society thinks, what makes you a father is father of 3, father of 4. There are some people who are father of 3, but they are father of nobody, because they are not fathering anybody. Those children are orphans. And you know who's an orphan? An orphan is a person, is a child whose father and mother are dead or not available. An orphan is a person whose father and mother are dead, but who are either dead or but they are not available. So that you are available does not mean that you are alive, does not mean you are available. Are you still hearing me? Are you still with me? Are we still together?
Yes, sir. Go
Hello,
ahead.
can you still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. Yes,
Okay,
sir. Just go on.
okay.
Just go on.
Okay.
Just go on, sir.
Okay. So let's discuss childhood briefly, and I'll go to fatherhood and I will round up, because I want to show you that acronym of fatherhood. So childhood produces us. So if we understand childhood, it will help us to relate with our children today. It will help us to relate with our past. That assignment of checking what was wrong, what was right, it will help us. Now, you see, when a child is a person, a boy or a girl is a person, we must honor and respect the personhood of a child. The personhood of a child. A child is a person. And if you are a person, you have 3 characteristics. As a lawyer, at the time I started having problems with referring to children as minors. I said, no, children are not minors. Because when you call them minors, it gives the impression that they are yet to attain wholeness. That you are a child does not mean you have not attained wholeness. You are old. You are a person. You are a child. You are good to go. Now, then, many years after, I read in a book written by Hillary Clinton. It Takes a Village. That's the title of the book. And she began to contest this whole idea of referring to children as minors. And she concluded that children are not minors. They are persons. Personhood of the child. A child is a person. If he's a person of words. A child is a person of words. It's not somebody you drive around. It's not somebody you come and drop all your emotion. It's not somebody you push around. You can't get home, lady Sass. You can't get home and you want to cook. Let's say you are a bachelor or your wife is not around and you want to cook. And as you want to cook, you put on the gas cooker and the gas cylinder is not working. And you discover the gas cylinder, there's no gas inside the gas cylinder. You can't carry the leg of your children and begin to use it to cook. I want to ask you, why using his leg to cook? He's still a child now. He's a child. He's a child. Don't worry, he's a child. We'll get over it. Is the child not going to feel pain? But you can't use his leg to cook rice. You use emotion to cook it. You batter his emotion. You batter emotion. You speak to him anyhow. You mess up his mind. You mess up her mind. You speak from your pain because you do not recognize the person of worth. It tells you when you want to talk to your child, you don't say, "Excuse me, child, can we have a conversation?" You say, "Yeah, come and sit down. I want to talk to you." And the child is saying, "Excuse me, dad. I want to do my own work. Who is paying for the school? I'm telling you, I want to talk to you. You are telling me you want to do homework." So you are invading the personhood of the child because you think that being an adult means being oppressive. You think that because you're an adult, one of the characteristics of an adult or a father is being an oppressive person. Because when my father returned from work, once we heard the sounds of his shoes, we became jealous. We became sad. When my father returned from work, we disappeared, we ran away. Is that fatherhood? My father died at the age of 82. I was 39 years old in 2009 when he died. We never had a conversation. My father never sat me down to instruct me about the issues of life, but I saw his life. I saw his unfaithfulness to my mom. I saw how he beat my mom. I saw everything that he did that was contrary to what manhood should be and what fatherhood should represent. I did not know better. I also accepted it as the creed of fatherhood. And I made up my mind. I will marry. When I marry, I will have one wife, but I will have many mistresses. My father never had two wives. I made up my mind. When I marry, if my wife misbehaves, I will deal with her personally. I'll deal with her the way my father dealt with my mother. Because for me, fatherhood is being rough. Fatherhood is being tough. Not tough love or tough hatred. My father and my mother's marriage seems to reveal to me that if you see a woman that you hate and you want to show her, go and marry her, so that proximity of marriage will give you the opportunity to show her Pepe. I don't think my mother was a happy woman. I don't also think my father was a happy man. I'm not saying my mother was a saint, but my mother was faithful to my father. I never saw my mother with another man, but I saw my father with plethora of women when my mother was not around. Because my mother traded, and my mother would travel from Ado to where we live to go to Ondo, where he bought his wares. I would spend 2 days, 3 days, and you see, by the time she returned, things will have happened. So, if my father knew that we were persons, if he knew that we were persons of worth, because the number one characteristic of a person is that the person is of worth, is original, is invaluable, is an individual. Individuality comes from the word indivisibility. It cannot be divided. It's a being to be respected, to be honored. Childhood does not mean to be oppressed. Childhood does not mean you should be disrespected. Many of us, we were disrespected, we were dishonored, we were violated. Our virginity was stolen from us. as children, because those who raised us did not know we were persons of worth. Number two thing about a child person has the power of thinking. A person is a thinking being. A person is a thinking being. A person is a thinking being, friends. A person is a thinking being. We are reasoning being, because you see, our environment affects our attitude. Our environment affects who we become. We reason according to the predominant behavior around where we live. Our environment dictates our reasoning. Please note, of all God's creations, we are the only one who can reason. Animals don't reason. Animals are not affected by their environment. The same way canary bird sings in Lagos, the same way he sings in Ijesha. There's no Igbo language for canary. Power of Babel did not happen to animals. They are not reasoning beings. They are not thinking beings. They are beings of instinct. When the lion was born, the roaring was given to it. And it roars all its life. It's instinct. You are the one who called lion the king of the jungle. He's not aware. He rules the jungle by instinct. By instinct. The same way lion roars in Lagos is the same way lion roars in America. It's different. It's the same. It's the same. Sorry. Dog does not have shame in Nigeria. Dog does not have shame in Russia. Dog does not have shame anywhere. Animals don't have shame. For you to feel shame, you must first be a person of reasoning. You must be a reasoning person. A child is a reasoning being. He can think. And let me tell you something. Whatever you want to inculcate in a child that does not respect the dignity of the child, that does not respect the reasoning of the child, is not going to work. Oh, it's not going to work. You cannot put food, you cannot put water inside a vehicle that is created to run on petrol and you expect it to move. You cannot. Whatever you want to do with a child that does not take into cognizance that a child is a person. Number one, is a person that is of what? Is a person of value. Is a person of what? Of value? Is a person, is a thinking being. Is a thinking being. The child is a thinking being. He can think, he can reason. So why not discuss with him? Why not converse with him? Number three, fathers. A child has the power of choice. A child has the power of choice. Oh my God. A child has the power of choice. How can I communicate these things to you so that you can affect and relate with your children as fathers? Your boy child, your girl child, how do you relate with them? They are looking to you. They are asking for identity. Daddy, who am I? But if you treat them and you cannot answer the question of identity, or so you answer the question of what? You answer the question of reasoning, you answer the question of choice. Children are people of choice. They can eat Indomie today and decide they want to eat rice tomorrow. They can sleep in the sitting room today and say they want to sleep outside tomorrow. They have that power of choice. God did not give you dominion over your children. God did not give you dominion over your children. God gave you authority. Authority is transient. It's for a while, 18 years. You must therefore use that authority to communicate value. You must use that authority to communicate value. Once you don't use that authority to communicate value, the children are going to outgrow your authority then. But they have not imbibed your value. They have outgrown your authority, then there's a crisis now. That's why when he brings a guy home, when she brings a guy home to say, this professor I want to marry, you are querying it. Why are you querying it? Because you are not sure of the training you gave her to make the right choice. You are not sure of the training you gave him to make the right choice. I don't like the girl, I don't like the boy, but you trained him to make choices. And let me tell you, fathers, once you don't train a child's sense of worth, you don't train a child's sense of reasoning, you don't train a child's sense of choice. Once you don't do all of that, all of those things are going to be in abeyance. They're going to be on suspension. Then when the child becomes an adult and he faces life, he's expected to treat himself or herself as a person of worth. But he has not been trained, he or she has not been trained. There is not able to hold his own. Every man that calls her, she's available. Everywhere he goes, he doesn't carry himself with honor and dignity. And people are wondering, what kind of person is he? He doesn't have shape. You didn't train that. You didn't train him as a person of what? They ask you, what do you think about it? He doesn't think. He engages his mouth before he engages his brain. He engages his mouth before he engages his mind. They say he's very foolish. Then when it comes to making choices, he keeps making poor choices. Because those three things that make him a person have been denied of him, have been denied of her. Many of us who are fathering today, we were denied of those three things. Our capacity as a person of what? I was not treated as a person of what? When my father wanted to kill me, he would tie my hands, he would tie my leg, he would strip me naked. He would give me 6 shows of the cane, he would go and sit down. And that could go on for half a day. And we lived in face apartment where everybody minded their business except gossip. And you see, the things that I saw tied when I was growing up were goats, were chicken. So I drew my personality, my worth, from those things that were worthless. So I was worthless, I concluded. I didn't think I was worth anything. My sense of worth was attacked. My sense of thinking was attacked. My sense of choice was attacked. I was set up for failure. So if I had ended up in prison, life would have been fair. If I've ended up in Yabale collecting tablet, life would have been fair. If I've ended up in the grave, life would have been fair. Look at me. In my short life, I've escaped death more than 10 times out of my foolishness, more than 10 times. It is by the mercies of God that I have not died today. One day, Wasiu Ayinde or Obesere came to play in my campus in Lagos State University. And that day, I have drunk. My God, I was a drunkard. When I drank, I would drink, I would vomit, I would sleep inside my vomit. I trained myself to drink anything available. Some people, they say they drank Gouda, they drank stout. I drank everything available because I trained myself. So if I go to a place, they say it's hard that it was available, I would drink it. They say it's stout, I would drink it. They said it was Burukutu, I would drink it. They said it was gin, I would drink it. Sapele water, I would drink it. Anything available, I could drink, and I would be fine because I've trained myself to be able to do that. I started drinking at the age of 7 or 8 because my father drank. So I picked up drinking from my father. The first cigarette I smoked was the bottle of cigarette that my father dropped. And so, Wasiu Ayinde came to our campus to sing. And so I've drank so much. I was licking tom-tom. There was no saliva in my mouth to lick it. And I was crossing the road. And I saw a vehicle coming at me in the middle of the night. At about 2 a.m., 3 a.m., a big trailer coming at me. I was drunk. When you are drunk, you have a level of consciousness of what is going on. It's just that you can't control yourself. So I was looking at the trailer as if it was going to be my head. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not able to tell you today how I escaped dying that night. I'm not able to escape how I did not die. I cannot escape it. I cannot explain it. I'm not able to explain. There was one big eye watching over me. See today, see beyond the error of my parents and the way I was living my life. Friends, speaking to you tonight is a walking, talking miracle. Walking, talking miracle. My life is a proof to me that change is an ever-present possibility for any human being who is ready to take responsibility under God. Under God. So I'm not a humanistic speaker. I'm not saying if change is an ever-present possibility for anybody who's ready to take responsibility, I think there's no God factor. Change is an ever-present possibility for anybody who is ready to take responsibility under God. That is Taiwo Akinlami definition of change. That is my life. And so I need to begin to round up tonight. I understand my time is 1 hour. And so I need to begin to round up tonight. Because you see, I can go on and on. But I hope with these few points of mine, I've been able to convince you and not confuse you. You know, that fatherhood is a huge responsibility. And I'm going to round up by telling you what I believe fatherhood is as an acronym. The word F there, I believe, stands for faith in humanity. Beginning with your family, your children. You have faith in humanity. The word A there stands for accept responsibility for fatherhood as a divine task that must be done for your personal and societal peace in the present and in the future. It is a duty. Fatherhood is a duty. Accepting the word A stands for accept responsibility. You are sent to save humanity. Somebody raised underneath the law of people. Somebody raised Ted Bundy. Somebody raised Hitler. But somebody raised Billy Graham, who said in all of his childhood, he has seen his father and his mother disagreed. but he never heard his father or his mother use profane word against themselves. Who wrote in his autobiography? Billy Graham. Who wrote in his autobiography that in all of my childhood, I did not experience any form of abuse? What's a testimony to fatherhood? Accept responsibility. What you do today has impact on tomorrow. Accept responsibility. The word T stands for teach. Teach. Disciple your children. Teach your values. Teach. Disciple your children. Be available. A child has 5 basic needs. That will spare me to go into that. I don't want to go into all of that tonight. But there's something Dr. Mahmoud said. Dr. Mahmoud said, your absence diminishes your influence. Your absence in the lives of your children, that is not my quote, it's Dr. Mahmoud that said that. He said, your absence diminishes your influence. Dr. Mahmoud says, oh my God. Josh McDowell says, rules without responsibility will lead to rebellion. Rules without responsibility will lead to rebellion. Rules without responsibility. Rules without relationship will lead to rebellion. Rules without relationship will lead to rebellion. So you need to teach. You need to teach. You need to be available. Your absence diminishes your influence. Many children are being parented by Naira Marley today. Many children are being parented by the bank. Many children are being parented by people who have no business because nature does not allow vacuum. On Sunday, I'm going to be doing a broadcast. I'm going to be talking about Ted Bundy, Naira Marley, fatherhood, and today's young people. I'm going to also write an article that same day to celebrate. I'm going to be writing about the subject matter of Ted Bundy. I'm going to be addressing Ted Bundy. I'm going to be addressing Naira Marley. I'm going to be addressing fatherhood. I'm going to be addressing the issue of our children, our youth. I'm going to be addressing linking to entertainment because fatherhood is costing us a lot. The word A stands for healthy. You bring joy. Fear does not always beat respect. Reverence isn't fear, it's honor. Joy brings freedom, nurtures curiosity. Curiosity nurtures creativity. Creativity gives ventilation to originality. No condemnation. You can't condemn children. Free to come to the Father's warmth. Your children must be free to come to the warmth of the Father, no matter what they do. Because the book that I read says, the sons that the Father loves, the children that the Father loves, is chastises. It means that chastisement of the Father is informed by love. I've read the story of the prodigal son. We are the ones who called him prodigal son. His father did not call him prodigal son. But you see, that son woke up one morning when he has, that son woke up one morning after he has spent all the money that his father gave him. And he was suffering. And he rehearsed what he was going to say to his father. I will arise. I will go to my father. I will say to my father, I've sinned against heaven. I've sinned against you. I'm not worthy to become your son. Make me one of your servants. That is what he rehearsed to go and say to his father. But you and I, for those of you who read the Bible, when that son got to the place where he was going, the Bible says his father saw him from afar, and he ran to him, and he hugged him, and he put him on his shoulder. But note, he did not, his father did not allow him to recount all of those things he said he was going to say. His father did not see need for it, which means all the while he was away, his father was waiting for him to receive him. That is the spirit of fatherhood. Fatherhood is joy. Fatherhood it does not mean being hard. When you are tough, it must be tough love. You must be able to explain your love to your children. A father loves at all times. Love means attention and appreciation. The word is means example. Example is the only way to lead and establish your authority as a father. Example is the only way to lead and establish your authority as a father. What you do not lead, you cannot enforce. What you do not lead, you cannot enforce. What you do not lead, you cannot enforce. You cannot. That's tyranny. Ziegler says, set the example. You wouldn't need to make many rules. Ziegler says, set the examples. You wouldn't need to make many rules. You father after your kind. You show the example you know. Your psychology, which is authored by your sociology. How were you raised? When last did you examine your childhood? Which is something that I've said today. A little one is following you. A careful man, somebody wrote, a careful man I ought to be. A little follow me. I do not dare to go astray. For fear he will go the same way. Not once I can escape his eyes. Whatever he sees me do, he tries. Like me says it's going to be. The little chap follows me. He thinks that I'm good and fine. Believes in every word of mine. The base in me does not see. That little chap who follows me, I must remember as I go through summer, sun and winter, snow. I'm building for the years to be the little chap who follows me. Each one is following. That is a poem by someone is said to be unknown. Ready to leave a legacy of responsibility. That's what the word R stands for. Ready to leave a legacy of responsibility. H stands fatherhood is honorable calling. Let me read to you that statement of Mandela that I mentioned to you when I started this broadcast. He said, when your life is the struggle like mine was, there is a little room left for family. That has been my greatest regret and the most painful aspect of the choice I made. We watched our children grow without guidance. To be the father of a nation is a greater joy. But to be the father of a family, to be the father of a nation is a great honor. To be the father of a nation is a great honor. But to be the father of a family is a greater joy. But it was a joy I had far little of. It's a joy I had far little of. The word A stands there for honorable calling. The word O stands for our source and sustainer. A father is a source and a sustainer. You are a source, you are a sustainer. A father is the source of life of the child. It's also a sustainer. The joy of having a child is how we raise them. He is the author of the order of the family. Now, T.D. Jakes made a statement. Said, fathers give to their children what they make, but they never give to their children what made them. What a sad story. Father give to their children what they make. They give them a car to school. They register them in expensive school. They send them abroad for summer. They put them in Asokoro, they put them in Banana Island. They give them everything that they made, but they never give them what they made, what made them. That's what T.D. Jakes said. And when you do that, you are raising a child without identity. You are raising a child without history. And a river that forgets its source is going to dry. What about a river that does not know its source? Chancellor Williams was the one who wrote the book, The Destruction of Black Civilization. Chancellor Williams wrote in that book, he said, an old man came, he said, where are the people of Shoma? He said, a voice answered that they have died. He said, the old man asked, why did they die? Because they forgot their history. People that forgot their history died. How much more a people who do not know their history? We are a source and a sustainer, friends. The other O in fatherhood stands for ordered to save humanity. Fatherhood is the cornerstone of the family, and the family is the cornerstone of civilization. I love being a father and a husband, and having a close and loving family is one of the greatest blessings a man can know. Yet fathers and families are falling apart at rates we have never seen before, and our nation's children are paying the price. That's what Sam Brownsback, governor of Kansas, said. You see, the last D there stands for you must be determined to learn the rope. You must be determined to learn the rope. You must invest in knowledge. Knowledge is what to do. You must invest in skill. Skill is how to do. What skill is how to do it. You must invest in attitude. Attitude is the wisdom, the inner strength to do that which you know you should do, friends. That is how these things work. You must have conversation with your children. Your conversation must answer five fundamental principles. Number one, your conversation must be meaningful. What is the meaning that you are communicating? The other day I was walking down the road in my street. I saw a father talking to a daughter. The father will be in his 50s or in his late 40s. And his daughter will be in his teens, early teens or late teens. And he was using foul language with the child. He was using F-word with the child. I said, look at this man, stealing from himself, messing up the destiny of this child. Meaningful conversation. That meaningful conversation includes what you expose them, because research has now found children watch what you watch, not what you tell them to watch. Number two, your conversation must be healthy. Somebody asked me, when I want to watch something that children should not watch, is it okay if I send them away? I said you can send them away. But as long as you continue to watch it, you are going to be a mirror. Your behavior is going to be better to your children. Your children will not see it in life. They will not see it in destiny. They will not see it on TV. They will not see it on computer. They will not see it on YouTube. They will see it in you. Because what you watch reflects you. Your children may not see it on TV, but they will see it in you. So whatever you watch, you are going to mirror to your children. Healthy conversation. Your conversation must be helpful. What help are you trying to offer now in all of these things that you are saying? You are just shouting. You are just cursing. You are just angry. And nobody, who you help, your behavior. Your conversation must be empathetic. What does it mean to be empathetic? To put yourself in the shoes of those children. The world in which you as a father has disappeared. The only thing that is existing in that world is your belief about that world. That world has since disappeared. Oh wow. Oh wow, that world has disappeared. So you need to come back to Olympus of fatherhood and come down and learn from your children, because they have a lot to teach you. It's their time, it's their season. They are the one who is experiencing childhood now. You are not the one experiencing childhood now. How come you are behaving as if it is still your own childhood? It's not your childhood. It's their childhood. It's their own childhood. It was your childhood yesterday. Yesterday is already in the tomb, is being buried. What you have in your hand is today, because today that we back tomorrow. Tomorrow is in the womb. Yesterday is in the tomb. So you bring all the yesterday a culture that has died, has been buried, that's already stinking. You don't go and resurrect it. Don't begin to use it to raise your children. So you have to sit down with them and say, guys, what do you think? What do you think about this movie? What do you think about this thing? Friends, you have to be empathetic. There's no other way. Because we live in a world where when you go to Facebook, there are three sexes. Male, female, custom. Male, female, custom. Number three, custom. Means you can customize your sex. Under custom, there are 58 sexes. You need to learn from children, friends. We live in a world where there's something called transable now. What is transable? Your body is okay. There's nothing wrong with you. But you begin to feel you are supposed to be disabled. So you go for therapy. After therapy, you now go for operation. You will cut one leg or cut one hand. They don't call you transable activist. We live in a world where there's something called transmission. What is transmission? You are a human being or nothing is wrong with you. But you say you are feeling that you are supposed to be an animal. That movement is very strong in Canada today. So you say you're an animal, you now go for therapy. You begin to cut like crow, you begin to call like cock or whatever. Begin to bark like dog. Then you now go and buy artificial head of cheetah, artificial head of lion. You go and be wearing it as a lion. In South Africa, we live in a world where a child took the parents to court in South Africa. What was the cause of action? That his parents did not ask him questions before giving birth to him. So they should have asked him if he wanted to come to this world. So he was claiming damages for bringing him to this world without his consent. And the court entertained the matter. We live in a world where pedophilia is being campaigned to be the order of the day. Because if a man can marry a man and a woman can marry a woman, how come a man cannot marry a child and a woman cannot marry a child? That movement is very strong in 17 countries in Europe today. Very strong in the Americas. Very strong. We live in a world where what we are dealing with is post-truth. There's no dominant truth anymore. There's no absolute truth anymore. That's why you hear people say, let him say his truth. Let him say his truth. Let him say our truth. It's our truth. Life is now as you see it, not as God created it for you to see it. We need to settle down with children. It's a difficult time to be a young person. It's a difficult time also to be a father, particularly in the third world, where everything rests on your shoulder. And that's my last conversation, where everything rests on your shoulder. It's not easy for you to be a father in the third world because you are responsible for everything. The church tells you that anyone who cannot take care of his family is worse than infidel. It's not in the Bible. A man who cannot take care of his family is worse than infidel. It's not in the Bible. But you are told you must be responsible for everything. The women say, our money is our money. My money is my money. Our husband money is our money. Tradition tells men that they are the breadwinner. They must carry all the load. In my family, what made me a leader is not to be a breadwinner. What made me a leader is ability to provide direction, to provide leadership. That's what makes me a leader, to organize, to ensure order in my family. My wife and I have responsibilities. Both of us work. So we determine, I will do this, you will do that. And who carries the lion's share is the person who earns more. Paul was writing to Timothy. He was writing about widows. That's what he was writing about widows who were still young enough to marry, and some widows who could not marry again. And Paul was admonishing church administration. And he said, if there's anyone, male or female, that's the context in which Paul had that conversation. Go and look at it. He did not say if there's any man who cannot watch over his own. It was Mr. Olakunle, a dear mentor, that opened my eyes to the reality of this teaching. He opened my eyes to it. So it's not my original teaching. What Paul was addressing was not that. And that set me free, because he shared that with me before I got married. And my wife is a very understanding person, so we sat down. Now, culture is putting pressure on you as a father. Government is putting pressure on you. You treat your children as if you are a local government chairman. You train your children as if your children are grand citizens. There's nothing that the state is responsible for. Yet there's no nation on earth where that makes sense, where fathers or mothers are responsible for everything about their children. None. But it's in Africa, in Nigeria, and we are told to be responsible for all of those things. And we are responsible and we are doing it. But we must begin to speak truth to power and begin to ask questions about the role of those who we have elected or those who foisted themselves on us. You must begin to ask questions and say, what is going on? A man told me, he said, the money I've used to train my 3 children, the children are in universities now. If I build 3 houses in Lagos, it's more than that. If I build 3 houses in Lagos, the money I've used to train these children. Public schools are not working. You put your children in private school. It's only in Nigeria that private school is an alternative to public school. Everybody is supposed to have access to public school. And those who want to go to private school should go there because they choose to, because they want a level of luxury, a level of privilege. Friends, it's tough. But I tell you, we cannot give up. We cannot give in. We cannot stop doing the things that we are doing. We are still going to raise the money to pay the school fees. We are still going to raise the money to live a good life. We are not going to shake. We are not going to run away from our responsibility. It's tough, but it's possible. Friends, I challenge you to a new thinking. I challenge you to a new level of seeing yourself. I challenge you to a new fatherhood experience. I challenge you to a fatherhood that is interested in conversation. I challenge you to a fatherhood that does not mean terror, but friendship, but joy, but honor. I challenge you to a fatherhood that is interested in leaving behind a legacy of excellent fatherhood, a decent father. That's my challenge to you tonight. That's my challenge to you tonight. God bless you.
Okay, so I don't even know where to start from. I'm trying to process a whole lot of things that I heard. And I'm sure the fathers, I can see the comments. It is literally set on fire. I told you before we started that Taiwo Akinlami will set this conference on fire this evening. And I'm sure you can testify to this, that this session has been mind-blowing. I don't even want to, I'm still thinking of how I'm going to catch a replay and sink in a lot of things that have been said here today. as a parent coach myself, now not as a father, a lot of things that have come in, and it was just coming and hitting, a lot of us from different places. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate you. We thank you. The Intentional Parents Academy is grateful for your consistency. You have shown that you are indeed a man of honor, and we do not take that for granted, sir. Today again, I say that I am proud to call you a mentor. You are indeed someone that I'm proud to associate with at every point in time. I am not, you know how they say you are not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. I am so glad that I am associated with you, sir. I am so grateful. Thank you so much. In the comment section, we're also going to be, you can find Taiwo Akinlami. We've already sent that. We've already sent that to our Telegram. You can find all his details on our Telegram. We also will be emailing you everything you need to know about Taiwo Akinlami. But as soon as you put in Taiwo Akinlami anywhere on the internet, his name is going to pop up. He's the first person, the only one, Taiwo Akinlami. And his works are all over. Awesome work that he has done. This is just a piece of Taiwo Akinlami that you have seen this evening. I don't think you can ever get tired of listening to Taiwo Akinlami. Trust me. I've listened to this man for over 2 years today, and every time he speaks, it's as if he speaks from a different angle. This night again, it was as if he was speaking to me again. I've never heard him speak. Meanwhile, this is a man that I can call on the phone and speak to for an hour. Yet he was speaking, and I was wondering, do I know him again? We're so grateful. We're so grateful. Thank you, TIP fathers. Tomorrow morning, we're also going to be meeting here at exactly 10 a.m. for the Q&A session. We're going to be having the Q&A session with Ebuka and TJ. TJ is a teen coach that have done teen coaching for 25 years. You don't want to miss that session. Ebuka is someone that have done, I can see Ebuka here as well. Ebuka has done raising boys. He has been advocating for the boy child for a long time now. Ebuka is a young man that I'm absolutely proud of. Tomorrow I'm going to tell you about Ebuka and TJ at 10 a.m. And in the evening at 8 p.m., we will return here to come and listen to another force that you will not regret listening to.
So can I say something before we leave?
Oh, yes, sure, sir.
I want to mention that this idea we developed for online, because when everybody went online, I think that friends will need a lot of support for online. So we created this manual. It's 123 pages of what you need to do to secure the safety of your children online. So if you're interested in picking up that material, just I don't know. I think Mrs. Wendy or Dr. Mrs. Wendy Ologe can take it from there. I think it's a material you should see. I think it's a material you should invest in. Parents are withdrawing their children from online schools and classes because they can't cope. And we have analyzed in a 123 pages manual what you can do to safeguard your children online. 123 pages of line by line, up precept upon precept. There's no 100% guarantee anywhere, but I can guarantee 95% that if you go through that material, there are all kinds of templates, all kinds of conversation starters, what to watch out for, the kind of abuse, how many abusers are online, what they do, all of those things. We've compiled all of them into a compendium of 123 pages e-manual that you can pick up and it will help you in no small way. So I charge you, advise you to pick them up.
Yes. Awesome. So we're going to be sharing details of that manual to you on the Telegram channel, and also we share to you via email. We'll also share on the large group on TIP. So please, we should get copies of that manual. I have heard, like I said, I have heard Taiwo speak on so many subjects, and I know that the online safety of the child is one thing that he's as passionate as he is for fatherhood. You need to see his works as regards child safety. is a lot. In fact, the first time I ever listened to Taiwo, it was on child safety. That's the first thing I heard him speak. And I said I must find this man. I said to myself, wherever this man is, I will find him. I don't care where he is. And today I'm so glad that I found him. In fact, he found me somehow.
Yes.
He flew all the way from Lagos to
I
Abuja,
posted
and
your
in my office. And that day was one of the most amazing day of my life. I can't forget it. Please, someone is asking for audio. We will share details on how you can get the audio, all the audio sessions together, so that you will have access. But please, sir, I would also like you to share the details with me as soon as we're done, so that I can just share to everybody to get these materials, because they are important.
I will do that.
Thank you, and thank you, and thank you again. So we see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. The session 10 a.m. is just question and answer. You can come bringing your question and answer that's bothering you as a father. We're going to have two fathers who are very enlightened in what they do, and they will be speaking to us on some of these issues. So 10 a.m. will be done by 11 a.m., 1 hour session, and in the evening we meet again at 8 p.m. On Sunday is Father's Day. So as we also celebrate Father's Day on Sunday, we're going to make some noise as well as we are closing these sessions on Father's Day. I am so honored. I am so proud of all the fathers that came out here to say that things have changed. I saw the comments and I was literally touched by the comments that I've seen here. A lot of people have reached out to me privately to say that a lot has happened to them in just 3 days. And this night, this night was something else. I need to go and sit back again, play this whole session again, and get myself through it. So we need to listen. The Bible says that faith comes by hearing, and hearing, and hearing, and hearing. So we will keep listening, and listening, and hearing, and doing, which is actually the most important part of it. Thank you so much, sir, for electrifying the whole conference as usual. We were not disappointed at all. Thank you so much. See you, TIP fathers, at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning and at 8 p.m. tomorrow's evening. Good night, and do have a wonderful evening. Remember, be that father, a decent father. That's one thing that you must remember as you go to sleep. Thank you, and do have a lovely evening.